Hey, this is Don from Padlock Technologies again with a brief video to talk about Duo Auth Proxy. Should you do it the old way or should you integrate it with ISE and do your proxy from there? So here's the thing. We're going to go to the Blackboard. We're going to talk about the difference between the two, but I'm going to just give you a short answer. If you are using the Duo Auth Proxy the traditional way, which was on a different server, you add a little software and stuff like that, and you're only using it for RAVPN, get rid of it. It's like not even, it's pointless if you got ISE, all right? If you don't have ISE, unfortunately, you have to use it because you don't have anything else doing your authorization and your authentication and authorization. But let's say you do have ISE. Well, if you do ISE as of 3.3, it is now natively integrated into ISE, right? And it uses APIs and stuff like that to talk directly to Duo, so you don't have to worry about sending things over to your Duo Auth Proxy traditional. So let's look at the whiteboard and how they used to do it. So we're going to do Duo Auth Proxy, and I'm going to say traditional versus native Duo Auth Proxy in ISE. Now, the reason why I'm saying in ISE, because that is the key to all this. If you do not have Cisco Identity Services Engine, just disregard all of this. You have to keep doing it the way you've been doing it because you don't have ISE. But let's just say for the sake of this video that you do have ISE. Now, in the traditional way, you would have your firewall. I'll just say FTD for now. And then remote users would connect in. You would send that to the Auth proxy. Auth proxy would talk to Duo. Duo would send the push. Push comes back. Check. Let them in a nutshell. All right. Now, if you put ISE into this, if you had ISE somewhere, that adds another thing to it. So now goes to ISE. ISE goes to Duo proxy. Duo proxy goes here. Goes back to user. User does the push. Pushes come back. Goes down to the proxy. Goes back to ISE. And then ISE does whatever it needs to do. Completely pointless at this point, right? When you got the Auth proxy now, though, with ISE, we got the FTD. I'm going to use FTD because if you're still using ASAs, you really need to get away from that. And then let's say we have ISE here. No Duo proxy anymore. No AD server third step. Still talks to Duo, but this is through API, right? So what ends up happening is a user logs in, Radius gets sent to ISE. Now in ISE, there's now a MFA policy. That MFA policy basically says if something matches, you're going to talk to the Duo proxy. ISE is going to automatically send some AD group into Duo proxy. So let's say you had an AD group called RAVPN users, for lack of terms. All right, so you're going to sync whatever's in RAVPN users into Duo on the back end. And this is all going to be through the API. So now when a user goes to kick in, FTD sends that radius request to ISE. ISE now authenticates the user. So there's going to be an auth policy there, an auth C policy. Then after you successfully do the auth C policy, now let's stop right here for a side quest. I would not try to do this with certificates, with computer certificates. You may be able to get away with this with user certificates because you can use the common name if the common name matches what's in the AD group, you may be able to get away with this, but this is normal username and password with 2FA backend. So let's say you username and password for simplicity's sake. So your username and password. So if passes all C, so then the next step is to go to this MFA policy. The MFA policy can say something like, hey, if it's coming from this tunnel group, and this is all stuff you can match in ISE, then go to Duo. So let's say the tunnel group was called VPN users. All right, and that's what I try to connect to. So now that I hit that MFA policy, what I'm going to do, or what ISE is going to do, is go, hey, Duo, I need you to send a push to the user. Push gets sent to the user. User goes, okay, I accept the push. And then the regular flow happens. But this time it just goes directly to ISE, right? And then once it goes directly to ISE, it goes down to your Auth policies, which is your authorization policies. And then whatever happens from there happens from there from an authorization standpoint. But it completely removes this out of the picture. Completely removes the need for a separate server that has the Auth proxy software on there, and that now you have to integrate that with ISE by using either a radius token or an external radius server. It's just an extra step that you don't need. So long story short, if you have ISE and you are using that to authenticate and authorize users, which I think you should, by the way, for people who don't have ISE, you need to get that in your environment. I've seen a lot of network access control appliances. ISE pretty much kicks all of their butts. ClearPass, Fortinet, Forescout, all of that kicks its butt. And it has way more integrations than most of the other competitors. And if you have a security EA and you have ISE and you have all those other things, you need to kind of integrate those all together, because you're not maximizing it to its full potential if you're not integrating it with other products and sharing that contextual information, because ISE is technically the brain of your security infrastructure if you have it. Other than that, you can do this for multiple groups as well. Now, there is some setup in Duo that you have to do, but once you have it all set up, it's pretty much easy to go from there, especially if you're authenticating VPN users. So that is Duo Auth Proxy traditional versus native Duo Auth Proxy in ISE in a nutshell. If you are looking to actually do the Duo Auth Proxy through ISE and you have Duo and ISE and you're authenticating users or VPN users on the back end, there's going to be some links in the description there. You can schedule a discoveries call. We can start talking about how we can get you into Duo Auth Proxy with ISE, and we can also talk about, hey, let's look at your ISE infrastructure as a whole and just make sure it's up to speed, up to snuff, and following Cisco's best practice. This is Don from Padlock Technologies. Hopefully this video was informative. Thank you and have a nice day.